think money is something that people really feel anxious about talking about. And
Hmm.
a lot of the time, people don't realize how emotional money is and
Hmm.
how it pulls on different areas of your life.
Yeah.
And even though it's a focal point, your money, your personal finances is literally, the main driver of your future income. And even some of the decisions you make now, it's still that part that is neglected
Yep. Yep.
because you're
Yeah.
focusing on all of the other things,
You're
So
focusing on survival. Yeah.
exactly. And
Yeah.
so when people sit down with me, it's kind of like, okay, this is my 1 hour of focusing on that really important thing that I know I should have been looking at, and that ties into all of these other areas of my life.
A lot of people come to you after they've been somewhere 10 years, don't they?
Yes. Yes, exactly. And again, it's not my job to kind of say, oh, you should have started earlier, which of course
But
everyone knows that starting earlier is great. But
yeah.
I say sometimes my job is to turn up the pain dial a little bit,
Mm,
and to highlight, well, what is the cost of inaction?
yeah.
What will happen if you leave this another year or leave this another 10 years? It's
Yeah.
going to be a lot harder, right? So
Beautiful. Well, and that's a good trainer, right? Like any good consultant, trainer, teacher, knows when to turn up the pain and knows when to back off. Um, but money is
yeah,
that, and I've asked this to a lot of people, but I think that shame is a big part of it. Can be a big part of not investing sooner. But the way my partner and I always look at it is we were investing in something different. Now it's time to settle down and invest in something else. So
yeah,
our priorities were not to be focused on that right then. And so now it's time to, or whatever, like we try and go back and tell the story in a way that's more beautiful, so that we can then move forward with less guilt and shame and all this stuff. Because investing can happen in many ways, and like you said, emotional ways. But if you're looking to have a secure future, there's a very um, not easy, but like there's an obvious way if you want to grow your money and have a retirement and have an exit plan, like you said, that you need to focus on at some point. Because
yeah. I think money moves where you tell it to move, right?
yeah,
So priorities are different for different people.
yeah,
And this is why I always say to you, or I say to clients as well, it's not my job to tell you what your priorities are. It's your job to tell me what they are, and I can help you to decide which ones to focus on and
yeah.
how best to do that, right? So,
But is it fair to say you're just like, but I want to help you grow it?
oh, my ultimate job is to help you to grow it. That's why we always, at the beginning, every session that I have with a client always starts with goal setting. It
Hmm.
always starts with, well, what is your financial independence number? And everything is then centered around that. But then we kind of go long term, and then we move
Backwards.
to the short term, yeah, backwards. So although and a lot of the time, the reason why I highlight that financial independence number is because people don't think about it until it's too late,
Yeah.
most of the time, right?
Yep.
They're thinking about, okay, I really want to buy a house because that's what everyone does. That's,
Yep.
I've been told I need to have a house, so that's my first thing. Or I've just started this business, especially for entrepreneurs,
Yep.
that's your baby, that's all my money's going back there. So again, my job is to go, well, what's the risk of you focusing everything on those one or two goals,
Yep.
rather than maybe going, okay, that long-term goal is also a really big
Yeah.
priority for you, because if you don't hit that number, two things are going to happen. You have to work for longer, or
Hmm.
you have to reduce your quality of life.
Yep.
Which one of those do you want to do?
Yeah. And
Come on.
would you say that your goal, one of your messages is like, you can do both. This can be your baby and you can be taking care of your future. You
Yes.
that is a paradigm that is so hard to get to without your expertise or without someone on your team going, no, 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 you can do both. I promise you can do both. I think that's really beautiful, actually.
Yeah, because we're also in a world where attention is, everyone's trying to grab your attention.
Hmm.
And every one of the things that you are thinking about as a priority is trying to grab your attention when it comes
Yeah.
to money, right? I need to get my kid this thing for school, or I want to buy this because it's a holiday that I really want to go on.
Yep.
It's like the now is the present. Unless you, unless you take, unless you take a step outside of the box and you go, okay, that's all the stuff that I want now. That's the lifestyle that I have now, and I want to maintain that. But at the same time, future me needs to have X, Y, and Z as well. How can I look after future me as at the same time as looking after present me?
And I want to ask you, because I feel like that's a perspective that many have when they live in their home country, and that it's kind of helps with the infrastructure, right? Like, yeah, you could ignore it, but it's a little harder. Do you? So I think one of your beliefs is you can be an internationally flexible person and take care of yourself in the future.
100%. I'm living proof of that, and that's why I feel like I can spread that message as well.
Yeah.
Um, Not just for myself, but all of my clients are international people who have made similar moves and are living a wonderful life now, whilst looking after their future self as well. Um,
I love
Plans
that
can
so much.
change.
Yeah.
Yeah, plans can always change, but what you don't want to, and again, this is the risk assessment side of me again. What you don't want to do is have less choices in the future because you focus too much on the now.
Yep. Our slogan at House of Peregrine is "It's now."
Okay, we've got to change that to it's now and later.
Well, I feel it's my responsibility to then help people plan for the future.
Yeah.
Stay in the present. No, but I think maybe this is just my story again, but I feel like the story of immigration and expat and um, even migration is one of sacrifice in a lot of ways, or you feel guilty because you're living. And so it often gets to this place of sacrifice. No, I can't have both. Oh, I gave up this for this. Right now in other countries, especially in the US, I hear this a lot. Well, I'm giving up. I'm getting out of a place that doesn't work, so I'm willing to give up anything, right? And it's like that doesn't have to be the story. You don't have to have this mentality. And I think it's generational. I really do, that you have to sacrifice or die or and it comes through in our money stories, I think. And this is one way it comes through in our money stories. It's like, I can't have both. I can't live in a place I love, escape whatever it is I'm escaping, or go towards a life on the beach, whatever it is that you think is your ideal life you're going towards. It almost seems selfish. Is that something you
Yeah,
see?
I think so. I think there's definitely a battle that people can have in their minds about, what should I be doing versus what do I want to do.
Yeah.
But I think the main message is time, right? You only have a finite amount of time,
Yep.
and therefore sometimes you need to be a little bit selfish and you need to say, okay, what do I want from my life
Yeah.
now and in the future?
Yeah. And take it, and you can have it, and you can get it, and it's possible.
Absolutely.
I love this
100%.
message. I love
Yeah.
it. And this has literally now been more about therapy than finances because
Hey, therapy and finances.
no, but I mean, I think what's clear is that you know your stuff, right? You're managing so much assets that you know your stuff. And so then it gets down to this philosophy of money, how you understand what some people might be going through. Because I know if you talk about this with another financial advisor, they're going to be like, yeah, just tell me. But also, I think that what I find really important is that you are not afraid of going. It's not like you specialize in US, Spain, like that's you're willing to look at everything
Yeah.
and then find the right person, because there's a lot of people who just specialize in one connection or two or just Europe.
Yeah, I think as I said, I work with Devere Spain, who are part of Devere Group, and we're one of the largest independent financial advisories globally. There
Yeah.
are 50 offices worldwide, and therefore I can lean on support when I need to. It's access to technical knowledge,
Yep.
but also local knowledge as well.
Perfect.
And I think, as you said, my USP is I have clients all around Europe already, right?
Yeah.
And so I know I've touched on the rules in France, the rules in Ireland, the rules in Spain, the rules in the Netherlands. And what you start to do is you start to build an armory of rules of just things that you need to know for those different countries. And I have to stay on top of those things as well, right? So as you said, rules can change anytime. As a financial advisor, especially in the sort of international space, it's my job to know when those changes are happening,
Yeah.
and to kind of foresee some of those changes to help my clients to know, how can they protect themselves from them.
Yeah.
So
Nice. Yeah. It's great. And so most of your clients are living in Europe, and then
they
they're
are, yeah,
from all over.
they're from all over.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And then my last question for you is really more about um, I want people to know when, obviously, before they move is a great time to talk to you. But if they've lived abroad for 20 years, is there a time someone shouldn't reach out?
Is there a time someone shouldn't reach out? Is when they have already achieved financial independence and there's nothing else that they need to, they're absolutely, everything in their financial plan is perfect,
I was
I
looking
think
for when they are being carted off to prison because they haven't paid taxes.
that too. I think that's definitely a given.
No, but I mean, there are real consequences to being out of compliance. Um, and that's not a fear tactic, but it is, you are paying for that security. Like having you on their team is also a peace of mind. It's a
Yeah.
part of, um,
Yeah, because actually, so, as an individual, it is your responsibility to be compliant.
mhm,
And you can have all of the team and you can have you can have the best accountant, the best advisor, whatever. But ultimately, the responsibility falls on you to make the right decision and to be compliant. And so to ensure that you have people on your team who are looking out for you and making sure that they are adding to, they're making sure that you are being compliant, um, definitely helps. So there isn't really ever a time where it doesn't make sense to get advice, especially if you're about to move country, or even if you've moved country and you've been there 10 years, but you've, and this happens, but you've kind of buried everything under the sand because you think, oh, that's something I'll deal with later.
mhm.
And then time just goes by. It's been
Yep.
10 years and you still haven't done this thing. So there's never a bad time. I help people in the accumulation phase, so people who are really starting to build wealth, all the way up to people who are in the protection phase, so who need more sort of understanding how inheritance taxes and succession tax and how to protect from that work. Um,
Okay, you've
but
just
yeah,
given me
so
another question.
okay, go for it.
Explain those phases. I know it seems really, really basic, but I think when you're an international person, you don't know you're going through the phases maybe. So when you're backpacking across Europe, or if you're like an expat at a startup in the Netherlands or whatever, you're in the building phase. And
Yes,
and how long
exactly.
do those phases last in general? Of course, lifespans are different.
Yeah, they last, and again, objectives are really different as well, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You might have someone who wants to achieve the FIRE, movement, which is financial independence, retire early. You might have someone who wants to retire at 40.
Yep.
Therefore, their accumulation phase is all the way up to that point. The protection phase is up until the point where you have achieved your financial independence number and you have a portfolio of assets that are paying you enough passive income so that you don't need to rely on a job or a salary or an employer to fund your lifestyle,
Yeah.
right?
So it's
So
basically like when you're young, you're kind of in the accumulation phase. Is there a middle phase, or is it just accumulation and
there is a middle phase. The middle phase is, I guess, where the two meet, is where you start to build assets and have family, for example, where there is certain question marks around, okay, is this asset going to be protected if I die and I have two children who I want to make sure that those assets are distributed to?
Mhm,
Does that make sense? So there is a crossover period. It's not. That's why I'm saying it's not really about age as
mhm.
much. It's more about
Milestones.
Accumulation, milestones, accumulation phase, you are just building. You have your goal, you're earning good money, or even, it's not necessarily about what you earn actually, it's more about how you spend it. As I said, money moves where you tell it to move. So, as long as you are growing and you're adding to your net wealth rather than spending it all, you're accumulating.
Okay, that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed our show. For the latest insights on living internationally, join us at houseofperegrine.com to find out how you can connect with our community. Let's craft our life story with intention together.